The reason your VLOOKUP keeps failing isn't because it's hard. It's because no one showed you this one thing. Most Excel tutorials make things more confusing than they need to be. I break things down so you can actually understand them. And today, I will show you how to fix your VLOOKUP formulas and make them clean using name ranges. Quick reminder, VLOOKUP searches for a value in the first column and returns something from another column. Let me show you a simple example. We will be refreshing our memory on VLOOKUP. Remember, our last lesson was also on VLOOKUP. And while I was training, I mentioned something called name range, right? Which makes, your formula more clear, right? So before I show us how to name our cell or name our column, I want to refresh our memory on VLOOKUP, right? So that way we can tell the difference and make our choice between naming our cell or naming our column versus imputing it by cell addresses. So first is, let's say we want to look for the price of monitor, right? I will show us how to go about it. Remember that when it comes to vertical lookup, which is VLOOKUP, we look for our lookup value is the first in our table, the first. That is where our unique identifier would be. Our unique identifier is a key that helps us retrieve a data from the right column when it comes to VLOOKUP, right? So if I am looking for, and the last time I also emphasized on the fact that just because this table is small, just because we have this small record and we can see that the value or the price of keyboard is 50, doesn't mean that if we have a large record of over 2,000 or 5,000, we cannot easily see it, right? And then I also mentioned that our manager, we can have over like 20,000 records and we might just need 10 data, right? Out of 10 record of a unique set of people, right? So there's a way to go about it, and by starting by using this small table will give us the idea and the practical sense of usage. So not to cut not to go too deep into a lot of stories, I just want us to get right into it. Now I'm going to go the regular way we know. You can say VLOOKUP. I would encourage us to start by equal to. This is something that you should not always forget, because it might be frustrating that you will type the right formula and then at the end of the day you keep getting error message, not knowing that you have missed the most important step, which is the equal to. So first, VLOOKUP. Now this is a product table and we're trying to find the price of headphones. Now the first argument, so in a given formula, right, anything you see in the brackets, they are called arguments, right? Now this is the main formula, like this is the name of the formula, right, which is VLOOKUP. And immediately I clicked on it, in the brackets you will notice that there's this bold part that is requesting something from us for the next step. So this bold text here says, what is the lookup value? Our lookup value is that entity that we are looking for an attribute for, right? So our lookup value under our entity product ID is 105. So our lookup value here is 105. We are done with that. So the next thing we do is equal to. What does the next bold text in our argument says? It says table array. Our table array is our entire table here. We highlight from the product ID down to the price, down to the last row, and then we do a comma. So our next argument is column index number. I told us this is column A, column B, and column C. Now what we are looking for is the price of headphones, and our unique identifier is 105, which is our product ID, right? So in VLOOKUP, if what we are looking for is in a particular column, we start by counting from 1 up until we get to that column we want to pick out a value from, So if our first column, which is our our lookup value, is A, which is 1, B is gonna be 2, and C is gonna be 3. So we do 3 comma. The next thing is asking us, are we looking for approximate match or exact match? Now in this case, I always say 0, which is either I click on approximate match, right, which will give me false. Sorry, it's supposed to be false, comma. No, I need exact match, which is false, right? And then when I press enter, I'm going to get a value. But before I press the enter, in order to get, or retrieve the value of the price of headphones, I want us to look at this formula so we can, understand and state the difference between, how we input our formulas versus using our cell address versus name ranging, right? Or name ranging ourselves, or giving our cell or column a name. So now this is A6, which is 105, our lookup value. Now if you look at this, I don't think anybody will just look at this and understand it, right? Because this is saying parenthesis hash, hash, all blah blah blah. So it's not really readable, right? 3, yes. False, yes. So it can see, it will give us the value, which is headphones 100. Now I'm going to be teaching us, this is how VLOOKUP works. Now I want to teach us how to name range. After name ranging some of our columns, then we can now re-enter we can now find another price of a product using name range. Now this is our product table. We do not have to name our product table, right? We do not have, because we are not using the whole column. Because if I'm name ranging the entire column, and I'm not looking for the value of the entire column per time. I am looking for individual, right? So this is out of the way. So the next thing I want to do is, which is very, very important, right? The table array, which gave us hash, parentheses, and all of that. So now I highlighted all the table, right? So there's this box here. This box is currently showing A1. So we double click on it and do what? We give it a name. We say product table. Make sure you name range with the name you can remember, right? Then I click on enter. So I can also rename other table, but for this use case, I would rather just rename my entire table array. Now let us now proceed to, because in some cases, right, if we highlight all of our tables, if the record is a lot, the description, this is just blah blah blah, or some cases it will be very, very long and so confusing, right? So this is an example of name range. Now the next thing is, let us look for the price of monitor. So equal to VLOOKUP. So what is our lookup value? Our lookup value is 104. Our lookup value, if you're using VLOOKUP, would always remain as the first column by the left side, right? So the next argument is what? Table array. Now instead of highlighting everything, we'll just say product table. See, automatically you would see your product table here. Then you click on it. Look at how neat it is looking. Then our column index number, we already know our column index number is 3, and then we know that 0 is the exact match we want. Now there's so much difference in the formula earlier and this particular formula. This is looking very, very clean. And then we do an equal to, and we get our 200. I want us to remember that if we select a wrong column index number, for example, we're supposed to click on 3 as this is where our price is, and we click on B, we're going to get error. Or we know that our column index number is 3, right, which is C, and then we insert another column in between it, is going to break, right? Also, don't forget the first thing when you're trying to do anything calculation on Excel, you have to start with equal to. And also our lookup value. Our lookup value would start from the left hand side and on the first column. And also on this part is either, okay, let me see, okay, let me do something. I'll come here. It's, yeah, so remember, it's either 0 or false when we are looking for exact match. If VLOOKUP has ever confused you, now you know it's not you. It's how it's usually taught. In the next lesson, I will show you XLOOKUP, which fixes almost every limitation you just saw. If you're serious about learning Excel the right way, start from lesson 1 and follow the full series. See you in my next video. Bye.